Bambara, Love on My Mind, mini album. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning here. Let's chat about this latest from Bambara. They are a Brooklyn via Atlanta-based punk band, and if you've listened to them before, yeah, you know that sound lives up. They put themselves on the map around the time of their Dream Violence album, and this album it's something. It is noisy, it is colorful, it is erratic, it is gloomy, it is hard to keep track of. It's an experience, and while it's not my favorite works from them, it's certainly something that you want to check out. I think it's definitely worth a listen. Like, there were times on this album that I really loved what was going on, but there were also times where I thought there was a little bit too much going on. But there were elements on this album that I thought Bambara could sit with and grow on, specifically the more post-punk oriented elements of this album. And with their next album, Swarm, they did just that. They began to craft their signature sound. It was, you know, very gloomy, very erratic still, but it was very dark. It was very sinister. It was really just very gloomy. There were elements of Southern Gothic thrown in as well, which is something that I always personally love. There was something very tortured about this album. Bambara were slowly bringing the danger back to post-punk. They continued to pique my interest with their follow-up, Shadow on Everything, which is the first album of theirs that I reviewed for this channel. And to me, this was the best of both worlds for Bambara. Tracks like The Door Between Her Teeth and Jose Tries to Leave were these rowdy, wild, sweaty post-punk bangers. Meanwhile, tracks like Steel This Ocean brought along the more sinister side of things, slowed things down, built an atmosphere. Bambara, to me, were really building the big picture. I mean, I'm a big sucker for Gothic tinted post-punk, and honestly, Bambara were scratching a lot of itches, which leads me to their last album, Stray. It is no secret I adored this album. This is one of the weirdest, rowdiest, genuinely evil post-punk records I've heard in years. Quietly, or in this case not so quietly, Bambara has become a band that I can't get enough of. Which leads me to this new mini album that they've put out. It's 6 tracks, it's about 24 minutes, and honestly, leading up to it, I thought they were dropping some really great singles. Let's chat about it. This mini album starts off with Slither in the Rain, and right off the bat, let's address the elephant in the room. This is not their wildest, rowdiest, or loudest release. It is much more on the pensive side, but if you listen to my review on their Stray album, you will know that some of the more pensive tracks on that album were some of my favorites. Much like this track's title, it just kind of slithers along, builds up very slowly. Just sounds so evil, like it's going to come up and bite you at any time, and honestly, I'm all for it. I love how dark and gloomy this track is, and I love Reed Batey's vocals. Like, I mean, his croon has become like one with the music of Bambara. If you're looking for a more off-the-rails track here, look no further than Mythic Love, and honestly, I think it's the best one here. It is a little bit more rowdy, but I think it strikes a really good balance for what this mini album is putting out. I love the big, passionate hook that we get here, as well as these backing female vocals. I told them on Stray I wanted to hear more and more of them. I thought it really brought a great duality to their music. We get a whole lot of it more on this mini album, and yes, that's awesome. This is right on the money, and it's still very, very tortured, no matter how catchy it is. And I've loved Birds ever since they've dropped it as a single. While this mini album may not have the rawness of their first few releases, it really doubles down in the atmosphere. It still has that very sinister edge to it. Between the charismatic vocal performances that we get here and that looming bass riff, I am really just still very much so into this. I mean, it's so over the top, but if you know anything about me, this is exactly where I like my post-punk. Point and Shoot may be the most genuinely evil sounding track here. It is just so sleazy. This sounds like the soundtrack to You Just Walked Out back of the sleaziest bar in Brooklyn. You just ran into a really rough crowd that you don't have a good feeling on. Once again, I can't stress enough, this may be Bambara's lightest sounding release, but their atmosphere is just as intact. And Little Wars, what even is this? This is so bleak. This is so genuinely twisted. Like, yeah, there are some pleasant releases. There are some beautiful moments. And the backing vocals that pop in are really nice, too. Outside of that, on this entire track, I'm on the edge of my seat. Bambara have a way of doing that. It really doesn't let up at all until this track ends. This mini album is very good. Now, if I had to nitpick, and I really don't want to nitpick. Like, I would say Feel Like a Funeral is probably my least favorite track here. I mean, it does have a little bit more of a bite to it, which I do enjoy. But of all the tracks here, this is easily the most stiff tracks here. This just kind of sounds like a very cookie-cutter Bambara track. It doesn't sound like it came to them as natural, which is a shame because this mini album, man, I don't know, it's still pretty damn good. I mean, God, BAMBARA has this death grip on post-punk right now, and I wish that more people were checking them out because they have this really sinister, genuinely evil tone to their music that I feel like a lot of people would really love. The Southern Gothic elements are here, the post-punk elements are here, and yes, maybe it is a little bit more of a on-the-rails release from BAMBARA, a little bit lighter in feel. The atmosphere is still crushing. BAMBARA's death grip on post-punk continues with this mini album, and I love it. I'm feeling a light 8 on this mini album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.